All right, guys, I'm going to work out the 6th grade computation test. It's very similar to the 7th grade computation, and after this unit, they will all be the same, 6th, 7th, and 8th. All right, so for number 1, we're just adding whole numbers. Sometimes it's subtracting. So the answer is 10,664. All right, for number 3, look at it as 40, take away 33, which is 7. Plus you have the 5, so it's 500ths. Or look at it as money. Here, it's 2 groups of 6 and 9/10. So really, it's 6 and 9/10. I'm just showing you visually. That's really what you're doing. But I'm going to multiply it because it just really seems easier to go about it that way. But I was looking at place value. All right, so there's 1 decimal place, and it's still here. So here would be, if I showed you with the place value, it would be 12 and 18/10, and then you would take away 1 whole, add it over here, which is 13, and you still ended up with 8/10. But as a fraction, you'd have to simplify that. So it's extra work. I probably would just leave it with decimals. So 4/5 would be equivalent to 8/10. All right, so let's go to our dividing. Let me enlarge the screen. It's 25/100ths being divided by 4. Okay, so, oops, I need to give myself more room. Kids usually want to put the second number in as my dividend, but it's the first number. There's not a decimal on the outside, so that's nice. So we'll put, if 4 doesn't go into 2, so we mark it with a 0, which kids think if there's no doesn't go in, they don't have to write anything. So then 4 goes into 25 6 times. I added a 0, and then this becomes 2, and then 5, because I added another 0. Now it's set to round to the hundredths place, which is the 2, and the number to the right is 5 or greater. So what that means, that's wrong place value. That's my hundredths, and the number to the right is less than 5, so it's just 0.06 or 6/100ths. All right, let's go to number 8. I need a common denominator to get equivalent fractions, so my denominator is 18. I add all these together, I get 29 plus 9, 38 over 18. I have 3, 6. You get taught it's an improper fraction. The problem with it is you can take out some wholes from it. So take away. And then I add that, and it becomes 7 and 20 over 18. If the top number is greater, that means I can take away another whole, and it becomes 8 and 2/8, which simplifies to 8 and 1/9. All right, so that's the front of the computation test. Let's go to the back. So for number 9, this is one of my big ones that gets missed all the time. I'm going to show you visually. So I have 6 holes. Forgive me that it doesn't look great. You're taking away 2. And from here, you're going to take away 5/9, meaning 4/9 is left. And then you still have the 3 wholes, because here you took away 5/9. All right, let's go to number 10. We need equivalent fractions to get common denominators. The 2/2 is whole, 1 whole. 3 divided by 3 is 1 whole. That's all I'm doing. I can't take 9/12 from 2/12, but I can borrow 1 whole. I end up with 14/12. 14/12 minus 9/12 is 5/12. So there we go. This one is 4 groups of 1/3. So this is basically 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, which equals 4/3 or 1 1/3. Either one. Here, it's 1 whole divided by 2/3 I just made them equivalent fractions. This is the part that I want. This is what I call, this is the part that I want. This is my group size. So I have 1 here plus part of another. So I have 1 group. And then really what I have is 3. Well, no, it's okay. I'm going to not do that to you. So you end up with 1 and then a half. So I'll solve it with algorithms. Oh, sorry. Which you multiply by the reciprocal. I still ended up with 1 1/2. I just showed you visually. So I did equivalent fractions. 3/3 is 1, and then what I wanted was the 2. So I'm looking for this in the 1 whole. I have another video that I put dividing fractions. It starts with 6.3e, where I do several problems, and that might be where you want to look for that. Here I'm looking at it as a number line. This goes down. This goes down. You end up with -12. This is up. This is down. There's -5. Here you'll go down from 0 to -2. From -2, you climb up 5 and you end up at 3. This one means 3 groups of -2, which is -6. Here, this means 12 divided by -6. Well, 2 groups of -6 equals -12. So my answer is 2. Here is you're taking away the opposite, because you can't have a negative group. So if it's 2 groups of -9 is -18, but if I want the opposite, it would be 18. Here is 2 groups of -1, but I want the opposite, so it'd be 2. And then now I have 2 groups of -2, which is -4. Here is -4, and you're going to take away, this is take away, and that's the opposite of a positive, so you're -4. Take away the opposite of 4, -4, which really if you're taking away the opposite, it winds up being -4 plus 4, which is 0. All right, thanks for watching. I do hope it helped.